In the hills of Louisville, Kentucky, lies Waverly Hills Sanatorium, infamous for its dark history and haunting tales. Originally built in 1910 as a hospital for tuberculosis patients, Waverly Hills symbolized suffering and despair. But the most chilling events would unfold long after the hospital closed its doors. On a crisp August night in 2020, a group of urban explorers decided to spend the night at Waverly Hills, eager to capture the spirit of the haunted sanatorium on camera. The group consisted of 4 friends: Mark, Lisa, Jake, and Sarah. They arrived just before sunset, the sun casting a golden hue over the decaying structure, contrasting with the building's ominous reputation. As they entered, the air grew thick with an unsettling energy. The creaking floors and distant echoes made them feel like they were not alone. Ignoring the unsettling feeling, they set up their equipment and began their exploration, determined to document any paranormal activity. As night fell, the atmosphere shifted. The group split into pairs. Mark and Lisa headed to the notorious Death Chute, where the bodies of patients were secretly transported down to avoid alarming the living. Meanwhile, Jake and Sarah ventured into the surgical wing, armed with flashlights and cameras. Mark and Lisa began to feel an inexplicable coldness despite the warmth of the summer night. They heard whispers echoing through the empty halls. Lisa, feeling brave, called out, "Is anyone here?" To their shock, a faint response echoed back, a whisper repeating her words. The pair exchanged worried glances, but decided to continue, driven by adrenaline. In the surgical wing, Jake and Sarah were getting less action than their friends, but they stumbled upon an old operating room. As they examined the rusted tools and dusty chairs, Jake felt a sudden urge to take a picture of an old surgical table. Just as he snapped the photo, the temperature dropped dramatically, and they heard a loud bang coming from the next room. Startled, they rushed to investigate, finding nothing but shadows dancing on the walls. However, Sarah noticed something odd in the photo Jake had taken. In the corner, behind the table, there appeared to be a ghostly figure, pale and translucent. Jake dismissed it, attributing it to low lighting or a trick of the camera, but Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The group reconvened to share their experiences. Mark and Lisa described the whispers, while Jake showed them the picture. The atmosphere shifted again, heavier this time, as they all reviewed the photo together. Suddenly, the lights on their equipment flickered, and a deep, rumbling voice resonated through the room. "Get out." Panic set in as they realized they were not welcome. They gathered their belongings, ready to leave when Mark felt a sharp pain in his chest, gasping for air. It felt as though something was squeezing his heart. In sheer terror, he collapsed onto the floor. Lisa and Jake rushed to help him, but as they looked down, they noticed an old, worn-out patient wristband on his arm, one that was dated from the 1950s. It read, "Patient 781. Mark had no idea how it had gotten there. Terrified, Lisa and Sarah decided they needed to confront whatever had taken hold of Mark. They gathered around him, chanting softly, urging whatever spirit was present to reveal itself. Suddenly, the room grew dark, and the whispers returned, louder and more frantic. Mark's eyes rolled back, and he gasped, "I can't breathe." The whispers reached a crescendo, and the ghostly figure from Jake's photo appeared in front of them. A woman in a tattered hospital gown, tears streaming down her pale face. She pointed at Mark, her expression a mix of anger and sorrow. At that moment, Lisa realized that Mark's family had a history of tuberculosis. It struck her that perhaps Mark's condition was tied to the spirit's unresolved pain. She began to plead with the ghost, asking what it needed to be at peace. As if hearing her, the spirit began to fade, whispering, "Free me!" Mark suddenly gasped, and the pressure on his chest lifted. The wristband dissolved into mist, and the whispers quieted to a gentle sigh. Mark sat up, bewildered but alive. The group, shaken but relieved, made their way back to the exit, leaving Waverly Hills behind them. They all felt a sense of peace, knowing they had confronted the darkness that lingered within those walls. Weeks later, Mark discovered his great-grandfather had been a patient at Waverly Hills during the 1950s. This revelation changed everything. He learned that his family had a history tied to the very place that had once haunted him. Mark began researching his family history and made it a point to honor the stories of those who had suffered at Waverly Hills. Waverly Hills Sanatorium continues to draw the curious and the brave, but now it also stands as a reminder. Some spirits are just waiting for someone to listen. Thank you for watching this episode from The Lures of the Past. If you enjoyed this journey into mystery and intrigue, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Make sure to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when our next tale from the past goes live.